from here, booktubes, and today is my favorite non-fiction books. I normally read romance, that's what my channel is primarily dedicated to, but I didn't always just read romance, and these are my favorite non-fictions, the ones that really impacted me, that years later I can tell you what they're about and what they did for me. The first one is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. This is an exceptional book that I genuinely think everybody should read. The audiobook is great. I believe, at least a while ago, it was available on YouTube. A lot of people are familiar with the concept. She's had a Netflix show. There's been tons of articles, and probably a friend or family member went ahead and did the method. So she's had a lot of exposure even if you haven't read the book, but reading the book is completely different. There will be a nugget here or a sentence here that completely changes your mind, shifts your understanding of your stuff and why you can get rid of it and how you can get rid of it and why it's okay and why you don't have to feel guilty and why you have too much stuff and here's how we can take care of it. I love this book. It changed my life. I had struggled for years to declutter, and there were so many things that stressed me out every time I came across them. But I didn't know what to do with them, and I didn't know what I should do. And her book changed all of that for me, and it made a huge impact on me. It changed my house, it changed my life, and I am forever grateful to this book. Next I have Bringing Up Bébé. Can I get a little Schitt's Creek meme here? One American mother discovers the wisdom of French parenting by Pamela Druckerman. She also wrote Bébé, and I loved that book also. This is just the things that the parenting struggles that we as American parents assume are just par for the course, and how the French are like, no, we don't do that here, and this is what we do and how we do it. And you get her experience of moving to Paris and not knowing French culture and not understanding the kind of faux pas that she was doing and trying to find acceptance amongst a group of people that are generally not accepting of newcomers. I'm a little bit of a Francophile. I went through a whole phase where I read, all these American going to Paris books. This is a parenting book that I think you would enjoy even if you aren't a parent, and if you are a parent, it can be very eye-opening and just remind you, hey, you don't have to put up with this. There might be something you want to take from this book. Next I have The 100, A Guide to the Pieces Every Stylish Woman Must Own by Nina Garcia. When I read this book, I picked it up randomly in a bookstore. I didn't know who Nina Garcia was. I hadn't watched Project Runway. I loved this book. The illustrations are amazing. I think I got rid of the book because, decluttering, whatever. But I loved it. It was so much fun for that time in my life when I was trying to find out my style and what I liked, and living in a small rural town in Pennsylvania, and just seeing that there was more out there fashion-wise and style-wise, being able to express yourself and what you might want to have in your closet all the time. I loved it. The illustrations are really cute, and it's literally a 100-piece list, and so it's an easy, enjoyable read. Next I have Lessons from Madame Chic, The Top 20 Things I Learned While Living in Paris by Jenifer L. Scott. Jenifer does actually have a YouTube channel, and it's called The Daily Connoisseur, and I will link it below. She makes lovely homemaking videos, and she has a very interesting viewpoint of the world. She tends to be very traditional, and a big thing of hers is you should look classy all the time. You shouldn't just wear oversized t-shirts. You should look presentable. That's a big thing to her, and it's something that she didn't always do. She grew up wearing flip-flops and graphic t-shirts and cut-off jeans and all the things, so that's what she wore. But then she went to France as an exchange student, and it changed her life, and these are things that she learned from the woman that she stayed in their home and she wrote 4 books, I believe, in this series, and I've read and loved them, and her, like I said, her YouTube channel is fantastic. But if you also kind of enjoy the peek into the French way of life, and even just a different way of doing things, I really love these books. Lastly, I have something completely different, and that is Cleopatra A Life by Stacy Schiff. I am a huge fan of biographies that are within kind of story-like or fiction-like, if you will, of the famous historical woman, the woman with power, the woman who had maybe been villainized. We're talking Cleopatra, Catherine the Great, Marie Antoinette. Their stories are so sad and so compelling and so interesting to see. Okay, this was actually a genius woman who was just trying to stay alive with the hand of cards that she was dealt. Cleopatra is well known for lavishness, for being loose, for seducing powerful Roman men. That's not what she was like. First of all, she wasn't gorgeous. She was a very plain looking woman. She was a genius. She was also a teenage girl who was in danger of her life from her own family, who made the decisions to kill some of her family, who refused to marry her younger brother, who was definitely deformed because of incest in the family, because the Egyptian rulers were gods and they could only marry another godlike being. In Egypt, that was each other. That was it. So when she, had these affairs, if you will, with these very powerful Roman conquerors, they were like the only guys on her level that she could maintain her power and be like, hey, I'm not going below me. I'm going with somebody equal here. And she was completely monogamous with them. And she dated one for quite a while, and then she dated the other for quite a while after the first one's death, right? But like, she was not promiscuous, if you will. And she was a genius, and she did everything that she could, and it wasn't enough. And history has painted her as this seductress. And she wasn't. She was a brilliant ruler. And this is just a compelling, amazing, fantastic look into her life. I read this. I also listened to the audiobook. If you don't know anything about Cleopatra, this is a great place to start. That's it for my favorite nonfiction books. I actually do have several more, but I figured I would just leave it at here. Again, I do mostly read romance, so if you would like romance recommendations, stick around. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.